Hey guys, welcome back to Bob's Fan TV, and today we are doing the 2024 season review. Look, this is going to be a difficult one, isn't it? But it has to be done. Look, we did one last year, we did one the year before that, and look, we're going to do it again. And look, let's be honest, this year was a disaster. Just to put it simply, a very poor season. One that I don't know if many were expecting after the way 2023 ended. With us, throwing Europe away in the last few games and losing the cup final. Um, but yeah, look, yeah, a year that we will be very, very happy to put behind us. Look, I suppose we'll go back to the start really, to sort of the build up to the season. When you look at it, there was a lot of negativity. Let's be honest. Like I said, back end of 2023, throwing Europe away, losing the cup final, had a lot of there was a lot of pressure on the Vine. You know, we knew that it'd be a tough off season. We knew that there were going to be some players that were leaving. We lost, Ali Koo and Afalabi, two key players to us, and we knew that another year without Europe was going to have us sort of lower down the field chain in terms of transfers. And look, our recruitment ultimately let us down. We brought in a lot of players from abroad that didn't live up to the expectations. Let's be honest. You look at that signs that we made in that window. Miller, Freund, Court, Lander. Look, I actually thought Miller was hard done by. He obviously it got announced there that he was let go. I think he's been a bit hard done by, to be honest, because he didn't really play one game in his proper position for us. But yeah, look at Ryan Cart and Lelander and Piszczek. Look, Casper, worked out obviously player of the year, rightly so, I believe, and Dale Rooney, they've done like Casper, they were probably our two best players last season just gone. A couple of other lads came in on loan. Look at Brian McManus from Shells. He was in on a permanent, and that didn't work out. He's gone now. Keita, Mills, Matheson, those these sort of players that came in on loan and look made a little bit of an impact. I thought those three that I mentioned, done okay. Keita obviously had his loans kind of cut short. He went back to America. Same with Matheson. He was only here till June, but he done really well. And Mills, had his moments. And done an okay job. But look, ultimately, it was a really really poor window. Really poor. Only two of those signings really worked out. Let's be honest, and that was Rooney and Casper, our two best players in 2024. And yeah, that window was a massive massive letdown. But look, going into the season, then it was very much we're not really sure what to expect because all of our signings have come from abroad and it may take them a bit of time to settle in, and look, they didn't settle in at all, really. Obviously, Ryan Cart and Lander were gone by June, and that's how that went. But look, start of the season, no, it was our opening day fixture, Sligo at home. It was a 2-2 draw. It was a poor performance, very poor performance. Obviously, we took the lead within 5 minutes. Ryan Cork got a goal in his debut, and that was probably the only little bit of hope we had for that whole season. The first 5 minutes of the first game of the season was the only bit of hope we really had all year. And that kind of quickly came crumbling down. Sligo got two goals, and we had to get a late equaliser to get something from the game. And yeah, look, that was a very very poor performance, and that kind of added to the negativity really. But then look, to be fair, after that we went out to Richmond Park and what we thought was going to be a really tough game. We won the game 1-0, and we put in a very hard fought performance and got a win. And that gave us a little bit of hope again. But then that quickly eroded when we were beaten back to back by Drogheda and Shelbourne, and that spelled the end of Declan Devine's time as manager. And yeah, that was that really. He was gone after those two games, and yeah, look, I don't think he can have any complaints really. There was a lot of pressure on him at the end of 2023. A lot of fans believed that he should have gone then, but the poor window and just the lack of really any sort of ideas. That just that was the last straw, and he was sacked after that, and that Derek Pender took charge then for the game against Derry, which we did win 2-1, and we put in a very battling performance and got a 2-1 win. But then in the midst of that, we had a lot of rumours about who the next manager was going to be. There was rumours about Stephen Kenny. Who look, I don't think that was ever going to happen. Really, that was sort of a non-starter. Um, there was talk that he was shown around and stuff like that. I don't know if that ever happened, to be honest. But look, it was then get the job was then given to Alan Reynolds. And look, it was really an appointment that kind of excited us really. He's a manager that has a lot of experience in the league. Let's be honest, he's a experienced coach. We knew that when he was coming in. Like I said, it wasn't really an appointment that had us really, jumping out of our seats. But look, we were willing to give him a chance. We were willing to see what he could do because it was only it was March when he came in. It was still early days in the season. There was hope that maybe he could be able to turn it around and get to the summer and sign some players and we could see something a bit better. And look, he did make a little bit of an impact when he came in. Look, his first game was a 3-1 loss against Rovers, but look, we were sort of we gave him the benefit of the doubt after that. We were saying, oh well, look, a derby in Tala, it's a difficult game and it's his first game in charge. It's going to take him a little while to get things going and get to know the players and no, we gave him the benefit of the doubt on that one, but then we followed that up with a 2-0 win out in Galway, which was a very good win at the time. Galway, it's never an easy place to go, and we got the 2-0 win there. After that, though, we were beaten by Waterford, but then after that, we won three on the trot. We got the 2-1 win out in Talca Park, which is still probably one of our more memorable wins of the season. We got two goals in quick succession and sort of stunned them a bit, and even though they pulled one back, we dug in and we got the win, and it sort of looked like after that we were going to turn a corner. We got back-to-back wins then in the space of a week against Dundalk and Drogheda. And look, I think things were starting to look a little bit up for us. We went from I think it was eighth to second in the space of what, like I think it was a week. And it actually looked like we were going to be turning the corner. We were going to, start pushing the table, but that quickly eroded when we went on a pretty dismal run after that. Um, I think we only won 1 in 12 after that, which obviously is unacceptable. Really, from the 17th of May when we got that 3-0 win out the showgrounds against Sligo, we won. We didn't get another league win until September the 1st, which was the Rovers game where Piszczek got the winner late on with the header. And yeah, God, we went through a really, really tough spell then. We were really, really, that was when we were really worrying about getting sucked into the relegation battle. We were playing okay in certain games. It's just that we didn't have a striker. That's the main gripe, really. We didn't have a striker. Um, and we were playing well in games and not being able to convert our chances, and that ultimately had us in the position we finished in. Um, we got a few draws here and there. We drew against Pats in a game that we probably should have won. Out in Richmond Park, we drew. With Galway away, we drew with Dundalk, we drew in both. I remember both of those games. We probably should have won. We were the much better team, but just weren't clinical enough. And that was a major problem then going into the summer. And look, to be fair, Reynolds didn't waste any time in the summer. He got rid of the players that we knew aren't good enough. Like of Ryan Court, Lelander, he didn't waste any time getting rid of them. Barth as well. We didn't waste any time with those players. They went and he got the players that he wanted in. We brought in six players. Two of them were very familiar faces, of course, in Ross Tierney and Dawson Devoy. We were delighted to have them back. That they were two players that we knew would make an impact. We brought in Liam Smith, Lee Kavanagh, Alex Grieve, and Archie Meekson as well, alongside Rossi and Dawson. And I think some of them made a good impact. Kavanagh, yeah, I think most of them will need a pre-season to get going. Mikason, doing well at the back end of the season. Grieve, it's going to take him a bit of time. He's probably he's a different striker than the likes of what we had already in Akintunde and Ryan Court. He's a smaller player, but better technically. And I thought we recruited okay in that window. Look, Ross Tierney and the Void made a good impact when they came in, and performances did start to get a bit better then when they settled in. Remember we went out to Talca Park and we played shells off the park at times, and we probably should have won that game, but it just again being clinical and creating chances, that was just an Achilles heel for us really. And look, yeah, the performance levels got better. We got a bit of a cup run going. We knocked Rovers out in the first round. Got we played very well that game. We dominated the possession. We were a much better side. And then look, yeah, a bit of animosity started to grow towards Reynolds around sort of August time, didn't it? Where no, we had that game against Waterford where we were 2-0 up and lost 3-2. And then I think a week after that, we went to Kerry and put in a very, very poor performance, a very poor performance. And there was plenty of, animosity towards Reynolds after that. But look, I don't want to say he turned it round, but he sort of did really with the after that we got the draw against Shales that we were talking about where we played well but didn't quite again clinical weren't clinical. Then the 2-1 win against Rovers, which is only our first league win since May. And that was a game where we had to dig in and we got the win, and then we played Shels again in Daily Mount, where again that was another game where we were probably the better side, but just like, it's just the finish of the chance that we lacked. And I think it was sort of harsh to kind of blame Brails for that at the time. He can't fix everything in one window, really. I think that's sort of what the feeling was at the time. And even though there was a lot of angry people toward a lot of people angry at Reynolds. I think some of us were probably willing to give him the benefit of the doubt and say, okay, look, we know what he's trying to do. We know he had that one window in the summer. And look, at this stage, the season was a write off. We knew that we had to get the results to avoid, the playoff. We weren't going to get anywhere higher. And look, we did that. To be fair, we got we grinded out some wins, and we got that win out in Oriel Park, the 2-0. Then we lost 3-1. We drew in Derry actually. Then we lost 3-1 to Pats, and then the week after that we went up to Sligo and got a 2-0 win to confirm our safety, and we sort of relaxed from that point on really. And yeah, look, a lot of people were saying after that, well, why can't we get rid of Reynolds? And look, we drew the last two games. Then they were dead rubbers against Waterford and Galway. And that's how the season ended, really. Some poor defeats along the way, but we stayed up by a comfortable enough margin in the end. We got the results we needed, and we stayed up. But look, a lot of people now are saying, how can we keep Reynolds on after that season we had? Look, he's been in the job since March. People would argue he's had long enough for the players now, and it's probably time for him to go. But look, I'm not really of that opinion, to be honest. Look, I get that there was a lot of games where we were miles off it there during the season. A lot of games where we didn't turn up, but still managed to get through them. We're talking about Kerry, you're talking about a couple of other games as well. But there was also some games where we were the better team and didn't win them. Plenty of games there this season. You're talking about two games against Shales in August. You're talking about the Dundalk game in July, the Sligo game in July, where we were going through a rough period, but we were playing well. We were creating chances. We just couldn't convert them. And look, that's a huge problem. Still, it's going to be a huge problem next season as well if we don't address it and bring in a proper striker that can get some goals. There's players there that can definitely score goals, but are they going to deliver next season? That remains to be seen. And yeah, look, there was a lot of people to blame for that season. Really, there were so many things that went wrong. Keeping the void and post really, that was probably the big problem, the big mistake that we made. We probably should have got rid of him at the end of last season. Because the first, there was no real point in keeping him on for the first 5 games. We knew that once things went bad, we probably had to sack him. But look, I get that people on the board probably wanted to give him a window to try and sort it out. And have us pushing higher next season. But look, it was clear from those first 5 games that it wasn't going to work out, and he had to go. And he did. The board acted, and he didn't wait around really. Well, he did wait around over the off season. Of course, he did. Probably should have sacked him then, but they didn't wait around in the early stages of this season. When we lost that Shels game. they called a spade and got rid of him. And and um, and that was that. That was a mistake. In keeping him in post for that long. Recruitment was obviously a mistake. A lot of the signings were very poor. You know, Obviously it was mentioned to us at the AGM there on Sunday that a lot of those signs were made because we wanted to. It was wage inflation. Really, a lot of players that we would have wanted from within the league went off to play for Rovers or Pats or Shells. We know that, and we just couldn't compete with those teams. So we looked abroad, and look, none of them worked out really. Casper came in from abroad. He was the only signs that player that we signed from abroad really that did a really good job for us over the course of the season. And really, they were our two best signings. All the rest of them were very poor, and that's something that the club have to learn from big time, definitely. Other things as well. Plenty of other reasons why that season didn't go to plan. But look, we have to see something a whole lot better next year. A whole lot better. You look at the squad that we have now. Look, there's players that have since left the club since since the last video. Piszczek, McDade, Akintunde, McManus, Mills. Loan has ended. Danny Grant has left today. Rumours that Paddy Kirkus will be following him out the door soon. Others as well. Miller, there's been a big exodus already. And look, Reynolds isn't waiting around. He's not messing about. And look, that whilst that's good to see, he has to back up these decisions now. I think. He's made some big calls there. I think. Danny Grant was one that I didn't really see coming. Look, I know he was. I think he might have been out of contract, but I know maybe has he done enough to warrant another one. I don't know, but it's still a big decision to make. Same with Miller. There's a few other players there that maybe could you have kept? I don't know. I think there's probably someone there that definitely had to leave. But look, it's going to be a massive off season now for him to try and put things right because he's under a bit of pressure already. A lot of fans that are will be saying now, let's get rid. And that's fair enough. Look, there were stages of that season where it looked like we were going to turn the corner and then didn't, and we put in we got a win, then put in a dismal performance. But look, there was probably some things that papered over the cracks a little bit, like the cup run we had, knocking out Rovers in the first round, and then look, a very, very bad performance out in Kerry, but look, we got through on penalties, and then a very clinical performance. Probably one of our only clinical performances of the season against UCD, and then obviously the semi final against Derry, and look, there wasn't really any like hype around that game. I think everybody knew that it just wasn't going to be the season where we were going to win a cup. Just after how everything has gone, and we slummed to a very dismal defeat in that game, and we offered really basically nothing of ourselves throughout that whole game, and look, we were out with the cup then, and that was that, and no one was really bothered by it really. Just after the season that we'd watched, everyone had sort of lost interest, I think, and we have to do something now to get those fans back on side. And look, I think there looks like there's going to be a lot of radical change around the club over the course of the off season. Players are gone already. A lot of players are gone already. More will probably leave. More, I think, are expected to leave from what we're hearing. There's going to be a few more. There's going to be players coming in, of course, and 2025, you have to say something very, very, very different. Otherwise, it could get very, very scary for us. Because it was relayed to us at the AGM that a difficult couple of years are ahead with the with the redevelopment of Daily Mount. Look, obviously that was we got the funding for that yesterday, and that was great news. But we have to make sure that we're a Premier Division club heading into that stadium. And look, I know that sounds mad. It's something that we were definitely not expected to be saying, 2 or 3 years ago. But look, it's the reality now. After the season we've had, we need to see something better. Otherwise, it could get ugly. We could be on. Sacking managers and director of footballs. It's an expensive process. The club haven't got the money to be doing all this every season. We have to have our ducks in order now. We have to see something better. We have to have the recruitment right. We have to have things in place. We have to make sure that the players that we're letting go, it's for a good reason. We have to make sure that Reynolds or Fenlon can come out now in the next few months and say we got rid of X. we got rid of such and such a player, and we're going to bring in this player, and he's going to be better, and we're going to see something different. If they can't do that, then they're going to be gone. There's no denying that. And yeah, look. In conclusion, truly terrible season. Look, I was only saying this to a few people. I don't think there's ever been a season where I've been more disappointed heading out of Daily Mount on a Friday. Like I can only count on like one hand the amount of good times we had in Daily Mount this season where we actually headed out of that ground feeling good. Probably the Rovers winning the cup, the Rovers winning the league, and that's about it really. That's it. We had a couple of good away wins, winning out in Shells and winning in Galway and Sligo, and they were some good moments. But look, it was a season full of very very few highs, and a lot of lows. And look, we just have to make sure that we won't see anything like that again. That was just a season where things went against us. In terms of bad recruitment and sacking a manager, and having the whole change and that whole process. Um, and look, we just have to sort of look back at this season now and forget about it, and build towards next year and hope that we're going to see something much better. So yeah, look, 2024, you know, you know, never again, please, never again. So yeah, that's where we're going to end it. Make sure to like, subscribe, share, comment down below what you thought about the season, your high moments, your low moments. And yeah, look, I'll have another video out on Thursday. I'm going to be reacting to my yellow boy predictions for 2024. Where look, I definitely got a lot wrong. I definitely got a lot wrong. So we'll have a good laugh at that. And then obviously on Friday, I'm going to be doing my sort of squad stay or go tier list that I did last year. So stay tuned for those two videos. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.